Now to ceremonial and special presentations, and at this point we're going to go to item 12-0561. I would like to invite Tim Bremner to join us up over here. It's up to you.
Is this on?
Hello? Hello? Oh, there, I'm on. Mr. Bremner, welcome. We are honoring tonight Tim Bremner. We announced this at our last meeting. Tim was honored recently at the Bay Area Environmental Schools Conference in San Jose as the Green Star Teacher of the Year in the Bay Area. Tim has been recognized for his career in teaching and creating new structures that engage students in tangible, meaningful change. This year he has established at Castlemont High School the Sustainable Urban Design Academy. He's building on his prior work at the Youth Empowerment School, where Ms. Montoya was one of the students, where he worked with the UC Regents to design A through G approved environmental education classes, established a community garden, and partnered with the UC Berkeley Center for Cities and Schools. Tim has been recognized for this work by StopWaste.org, another group with which we love to work. And we just think it's delightful that you're doing this work for us. We're going to have a certificate that we'll bring by the school for you. And I just wanted to thank you on behalf of the board and see if you wanted to say anything, and then we'll let other folks talk. And just
Sure. Thank you very much. This is unexpected, certainly, to be nominated and then to receive the award and then to be up here, especially in this format. I wasn't expecting this, but so thanks. I'll be brief. Just obviously, this type of work is a spirit of collaboration, and there's a lot of other folks doing a lot of amazing work, of which I can just kind of speak to right now. A lot of it was said in that address, so thank you, in terms of like looking at food systems and food justice, food equity in East Oakland, and really using the educational system and classroom time to address that issue. We do other work around urban forestry, environmental studies, and we're really looking to grow that program. Farmers Market is on site. We have an amazing garden on site, really trying to incorporate that into our cafeteria, of which we're in conversation with food nutrition services to make that happen, and there's some movement there, as well as buildings and grounds, hopefully trying to get, planting trees on campus, as well as the surrounding area, and using, urban design and city planning and the instructional program at a school to put young people at the center of the decisions that are most affecting them. And so that's kind of the vision of it. It requires some innovation. It requires some flexibility in terms of instructional program, in terms of teachers, in terms of being able just to easily walk off campus, right? And so there's a lot that we're looking to do. So to what extent the folks on this board can really support that, in terms of making sure that we have teachers who are on board with that type of a vision, that we have support students to do that type of work, to really be at the center, not just as a token example, but that instructional programs are high quality and that young people are seen as assets, as members of community and assets in community, and can really make that decision, especially there on the MAC corridor. For the school itself, Castlemont, as we all know, is in a moment of opportunity to do some things differently. And as a 10-year veteran in OUSD, I'm more than happy to really just push for quality evaluation systems for teachers, as well as high expectations for teachers. And I hope that's what is reflected at Castlemont this coming year, so that we can have those of us in the profession to really be able to have the space and be supported to be innovative. Because doing the same old thing again, we know is not going to work. And so how can we really push the envelope a little bit and do things differently? And I'd love to continue conversations. I appreciate Ms. London for stepping to that and having some conversation around what does that really look like, and being really supportive. And I'd love to strike that conversation up with anybody else if you're interested. So a few things on the horizon, again, is like the food systems piece at Castlemont. We're also looking at solar master plan. There's actually one in the district, which I didn't know. And so digging around and finding out about it, and there's some real opportunity for Castlemont to go solar, as well as 17 other schools in the district. Also, like I said, doing a lot around hopefully getting involved with the various transformation efforts on the MAC corridor, and getting young people involved in that as well. So if you're into any of that, let me know, and we can go from there. Thank you again. I appreciate it.
Oh, man. So I've known Mr. Bremner for a minute. Like, he had my brothers as students, and then when I went to Youth Empowerment, he was my teacher for 2 years. And, like, when Mr. Bremner puts in work, he puts in work. Like, I got to thank him because he actually got me in contact with one of the youth organizations I'm also working with, Youth Building Healthy Community, because of Mr. Bremner giving me their contact, setting me up with, like, meetings with them. And I gotta thank Mr. Bremner for, because I feel like a lot of the stuff, like, he set me up for since I was a 9th grader. So when you play around like you're my best teacher, like, you really were one of the best teachers I had, Mr. Bremner. So I gotta thank you for everything you've done.
So, Mr. Bremner, we need to give you some history of the Castlemont campus. The reason why you have that garden is we had Environmental Science Academy there some years ago that did some extraordinary work and was nationally recognized also. So your infrastructure is there. We used to sell the food out of the vegetables and stuff out of the garden because it was much larger than what it is now. And I'm glad that you're back, and so the garden has started looking like a garden again. We've also had several organizations to come to Castlemont and plant trees and rose bushes and this, that. And our challenge was to get a watering system in that would keep them alive. So I think we have that now, but be mindful where we put trees that we also have to have a watering system because they're gonna have to live for a minute. It gets dry back there. Also, we talked about doing solar, and we were thinking about putting panels back on the back grass part over by the football stadium. You know where all that grass? Well, the weeds, that little part back there. So we were thinking about doing that whole part and just putting up the parking lot types of structures where they were up, and they could even be like carports up under them. So we got some infrastructure. Maybe if I can dig in my garage, I can find some stuff for you where we did some work, and you can just bring it back and continue. But we're glad to have you on the campus. Sorry you had to leave, yes, but Castlemont is a cool school. Okay?
Thank you. So Mr. Bremner, for me, is an incredible example of what it means to collaborate and be a practitioner who holds a high standard, expects others to hold them to a high standard, always keeps kids at the center, and quite frankly, partners outside the school. And when you talk about puts in work, I mean, the number of places that I go that they're talking about the partnerships and the outreach that you've done, and you always bring it back into the classroom, because I've also seen the structures and what you're introducing young people to. So I just really wanted to appreciate your leadership as a professional, but also the work you do clearly to touch student lives. So thank you very much, sir.
As you were speaking, you kept referring to the MAC corridor. So I hope that the MAC corridor will lead you right onto MAC, and so that there's some collaboration and work that can happen. There's actually a movement right now with a group called Planting Justice to do some urban gardening work at McClymonds. There's clearly our work through science, technology, engineering, and mathematics that's going to happen throughout West Oakland. And so that I hope that your work, we were talking a little bit earlier about documentation. I think it's important that you tell that story and build on that story, just as Director Spearman was just talking about that history. And so I think it's important for us to be recognizing like all the value inside of our district and these stories that we create and these legacies that are here for us to build on. And then again, just kind of making that east-west connection and west-east connection all throughout our city. So looking forward to seeing your work and then working with you.
Absolutely.
Great. Thank you very much. Let's have a hand for Tim Bremner.